Debarkation morning for us around 9:30 a.m. was as chaotic as embarkation morning, so we didn't capture any video. If you use a porter, please note they will not accompany you through the terminal as they may in other ports. They will meet you near the doors of the terminal after you clear customs. With the lack of signage inside the terminal and both royal and celebrity passengers debarking on the same morning, there's quite a bit of confusion on where to collect your luggage and exit. We plan to use Lyft from the terminal back to the Hampton Inn and Suites downtown Seattle, which is where we stayed prior to embarkation. There's a shuttle that will take you to the rideshare lot, which is a bit of a walk from the terminal. If you walk there instead, some of the porters will get you to the end of the pavilions in the terminal area, and you're on your own after that. It's not too bad, just something to be aware of. Raina did the self-departure option at 6:45 a.m. to get to SeaTac for her flight. She had no delays with crowds or getting a taxi. She took a side trip to Vegas to surprise her boyfriend for his birthday. She was told the taxis take credit cards, but when she arrived at the airport and went to pay, her driver told her it was cash only.
In the hallway. Privacy over, I'm opening the door.
This isn't Seattle.
After a 15-minute ride, we were back at our hotel. Our room wasn't ready, but Cole was tired, so he decided to nap in the breakfast area while Raj and I read. After our room was available, we freshened up and headed to Pike's place. Though it was just under a mile and a half from our hotel, we could have walked, but ended up taking a Lyft since we planned to spend the rest of the day in the area exploring. We plan to stick closer to the hotel neighborhood, which is very close to the Space Needle, Chihuly Gardens, Mopop, and other attractions the next day when Rena was back. The marketplace was very crowded and Raj was feeling overstimulated, so we stopped at Pierogi to grab some Russian pastries for a light lunch before heading to the Seattle Aquarium. They have a huge window so you can watch them making the various pastries while you wait in line and decide what you'll order. Raj got a chocolate cream hazelnut roll, Cole got the jalapeno cheddar sausage pierogi, and I ordered the beef and onion. They were all delicious. We ate our pierogi treats on the pier near the aquarium before heading in.
Welcome to downtown Seattle on the waterfront. That's Pier 66 where the Norwegian sports from. We are currently at the Seattle Aquarium and the seal habitat. You can see the Seattle wheel in the background. There is quite a bit of construction happening right now.
Wow. Oh, wow, there's another one coming out. Yeah, just came out. There's 3 of them now.
Can you get out?
Do they come around Pacific Northwest?
I feel like they live more towards like Alaska. Yeah, I feel like it's more up north.
We all really enjoyed the aquarium and got the chance to speak with staff who were outside taking water samples. They showed us how they analyze the samples and what they look for. They have staff everywhere throughout the aquarium available to answer questions about the animals and their habitats. It was really interesting to see the salmon exhibit where they show them at varying stages of development from egg all the way up to adult salmon. The giant octopus was fascinating to watch. I was expecting the tickets to the aquarium to be super expensive based on the prices we've paid at other aquariums around the country, but walk-in ticket prices were about $35 per an adult and $25 per child, less than half of what we've paid at the New England Aquarium. If you reserve tickets in advance, the ticket prices will be even lower. This aquarium also participates in the Seattle City Pass program, which allows admission to 5 Seattle attractions. Those attractions include the Space Needle, Aquarium, and 3 additional attractions of your choosing from a set list. That list includes popular choices like Chihuly Garden and Glass, the Museum of Pop Culture, and the Woodland Park Zoo. We've linked to information on these below. It's definitely worth checking out the City Pass if you'll be in Seattle for a day or two before or after your cruise and are interested in any of those particular sites.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it about?
It's the hair.
Look, see? Oh. Like flying through water. I haven't never seen a before.
After the aquarium, we continued walking down along the waterfront and made our way to Miners Landing and the Seattle Great Wheel at Pier 57. Again, we didn't buy tickets in advance and were expecting it to be expensive, but it was only around $17 per person for anyone aged 12 and up. I believe if you buy your tickets in advance, the cost is $15 per person. Once the wheel is loaded up, they do 4 full rotations before you exit. Once you're on, the ride is about 20 minutes. Raj and I are both afraid of heights, but the gondolas have seats which made the experience a little bit less scary. They also have some gondolas with tables if you happen to purchase a drink while waiting in line.
It is $17 per adult. Not a bad price. The wheel goes around 3 times once everyone is loaded, so I guess we'll see what we can see. What do you think so far, Raji? That stadium right there in the background, I forgot the name of it. Has 2 white arches. If you arrive in Seattle in the evening, it's lit up and super pretty as you're getting into the town. Restaurants and stuff all along the pier. And that's a ferry that goes up to Victoria, Canada for the day and back.
Say?
Boats down here, the Argosy, and I forgot the name of the one that has the orca painted on the side of it, do harbor cruises around Seattle. There's also other boats that go out and do whale watches. There's a totem pole down on the pier. Where?
The views all around were definitely worth the experience. After exiting the Great Wheel, we explored Miners Landing a bit. There's an arcade, restaurants, a flight experience ride called Wings Over Washington, a carousel, and more. We were feeling hungry and decided to stop at the Alaskan Sourdough Bakery right at Miners Landing to grab something to eat. They bake bread, cookies, and other treats fresh every day and serve hot soups and chowder in sourdough bread bowls. Raj and I love sourdough, and this was some of the best we've ever had. We all really enjoyed our sandwiches and cookies to fuel up before continuing our exploration and heading towards Pioneer Square to check out the Seattle Underground tour. We got a little bit lost heading to Pioneer Square and didn't realize we needed to take the pedestrian walkway to get there. We made it walking on sidewalks, but I gotta be honest with you, it felt super sketchy, and I was happy it was still light out. Pioneer Square is an area of significant historical value to Seattle, and while they've tried to revitalize the area, it was a major disappointment and should not be a place where tourists are encouraged to go. There are a lot of homeless people there, people with substance abuse issues. We saw a security guard trying to calm down a man who was just screaming into the air. We almost stepped in multiple piles of human poop. It was just not the experience we were expecting. The underground tour itself was also underwhelming. Most of it was shut down due to safety issues, so we mostly walked above ground to several buildings before going in to see parts of the underground that were still deemed safe. The tour was supposed to be 75 minutes, but at least 30 minutes of that time was spent with them giving us a history lesson before starting the official tour, and a good portion of that time was spent above ground walking between the buildings. We were also required to wear masks the entire time from entering the building unless we were outside, and there was no air conditioning. It wasn't super expensive at $22 an adult and $10 per child, but I wouldn't recommend it based on our experience. We agreed we didn't want to walk anywhere in that area as it was approaching dark and called a lift to get back to our hotel. Rena was back from her quick Vegas surprise side trip, so we grabbed some Big Mario's pizza for a late dinner. Big Mario's is 1 block up from the Hampton Inn and Suites downtown, and if you stay there, you should definitely try it. It's awesome. We were exhausted from a long day and called it a night. There's more exploring to do tomorrow.